Let's get right into it. Number 10. The beetle that survives being eaten. Imagine being swallowed alive, taking a trip through stomach acid, and then just walking it off like it's a normal Tuesday. That's what the aquatic beetle Regimbartia attenuata does. When a frog swallows one of these beetles, the beetle survives the entire journey through its digestive system. We're talking about surviving stomach acid that can dissolve metal. It's like going through a water slide, except the water is acid and the slide is made of flesh. But these beetles don't just passively survive the journey, they actively speed up their escape. Most prey takes about 24 hours to pass through a frog's digestive system. This beetle makes the trip in as little as 6 hours. Scientists think the beetle basically turns the frog into its own personal escape room. It stimulates the frog's gut in a way that forces the frog to poop it out. Imagine being so annoying that your predator literally poops you out just to get rid of you, and when it comes out the other end, it carries on as if it didn't just tour a frog's intestines. No damage, no trauma, just another day in the life of an unkillable beetle. Number 9. The Iron Snail. Imagine wearing a suit of armor in a sauna while someone's trying to crush you with a steamroller. That's basically everyday life for the Iron Snail. This little guy lives next to deep-sea hydrothermal vents, where the water is hot enough to melt lead and spews out toxic chemicals. This snail literally makes its shell out of metal. It's the only animal we know that can do this. The Iron Snail takes minerals from the toxic vent water and turns them into a 3-layer suit of armor. The outer layer is made of iron sulfide. It's like taking all the tetanus-covered metal in a junkyard and turning it into an Iron Man suit. The middle layer is squishy and absorbs shock, kind of like the airbags in your car. This snail is basically wearing the underwater equivalent of a tank. If that wasn't enough, the Iron Snail's foot is covered in iron scales. Imagine if your shoes were made from the same stuff as medieval armor, but they grew naturally. Scientists are still scratching their heads about how these snails survive an environment that would cook most other creatures alive, but the Iron Snail just keeps on crawling, wearing its metal suit next to an underwater volcano. Number 8. The Bobbit Worm. Imagine you're a fish, swimming along, minding your own business in the ocean. Suddenly, half of you is gone before you even knew what happened. This thing looks like it crawled out of a horror movie director's fever dream. Picture a 5-foot-long worm with jaws like scissors made of pure nightmare fuel. These jaws snap shut with such force that they can slice a fish clean in half, and you never see it coming. This thing buries itself in the sand, with just a tiny bit sticking out, waiting. It's like the world's worst Jack-in-the-Box, except instead of a clown, you get death. The Bobbit Worm has 5 antennae that sense movement in the water. When prey swims by, those razor-sharp jaws shoot out faster than you can blink. These things sometimes end up in people's fish tanks. They hide in the live rock people buy for their aquariums. Imagine setting up your peaceful little fish tank, only to discover you've accidentally imported a murder worm. Some aquarium owners have had to literally break apart their tanks to get these things out. There's even a famous case where a guy spent months trying to catch one that kept eating his fish. He called it the Barry the Bobbit Worm saga. Barry won most of the battles. Number 7. The frozen frog that thaws alive. Imagine being so lazy that when winter comes, you just freeze solid and call it a day. That's exactly what wood frogs do, and somehow they get away with it. These little guys are basically nature's popsicles. When winter hits, they find a cozy spot under some leaves and just freeze. Their hearts completely stop beating. Their blood stops flowing. Up to 70% of their body water turns into ice. If you found one, you could literally use it as an ice cube in your drink. So how do they survive? These frogs produce their own antifreeze. Their bodies pump themselves full of glucose, which acts like natural antifreeze. It's like they're preparing for winter by turning their blood into maple syrup. When spring comes around, they just thaw out like a TV dinner and get on with their froggy business. Scientists are studying these frogcicles because if we can figure out how they do it, freezing and reviving people could one day be possible. And the craziest part? These frogs can do this multiple times, like having a reset button for life. Number 6. The naked mole rat. Meet the naked mole rat, nature's way of proving that life finds a way, even if that way looks like a wrinkly hot dog with teeth. These little guys break pretty much every rule in the mammal handbook. First off, they don't age like normal animals. While other rodents live for maybe 2 to 3 years, naked mole rats can live up to 30 years. That's like your hamster deciding to stick around long enough to get a mortgage. These things are basically immune to cancer. For years, scientists have been trying to give them cancer in labs. They just won't get it. It's like their cells have some kind of built-in antivirus software. They also barely need oxygen. These little weirdos can survive for up to 18 minutes without any oxygen at all. When they run out, they just switch their metabolism to run on fructose, like some kind of living hybrid car, and they barely feel pain. Their skin lacks the neurotransmitter that makes most mammals feel pain from things like acid or heat. It's like they're wearing a permanent numbing cream. They live in underground colonies like bees, with one queen and a bunch of workers, and they can't even regulate their own body temperature. Number 5. The Spanish-ribbed newt. Imagine you're a predator, and you spot what looks like an easy meal, just a regular salamander chilling by the water. But when you go to grab it, this little guy pulls the most metal move in nature. It literally stabs you with its own ribs. The Spanish-ribbed newt turns itself into a walking pincushion. When threatened, this newt pushes its sharp ribs right through its own skin like tiny biological switchblades. But wait, it gets even better. Pushing bones through your skin would normally cause a massive infection, but this newt's immune system is so powerful, it heals perfectly every time. It's like having a bunch of pre-made emergency exits in your skin. And just to make sure predators really regret their life choices, these rib spikes are coated with a toxic substance secreted from its skin. So not only do you get stabbed, you get poisoned too. The craziest part is this newt does this over and over throughout its life with zero problems. It's basically walking around with built-in biological brass knuckles that it can deploy at will. Number 4. The Goblin Shark. Imagine you're eating pizza, but instead of bringing the slice to your mouth, your entire face shoots forward to grab it. That's basically what the Goblin Shark does. This thing looks like it was designed by someone who had a nightmare about sharks and decided to make it real. It's pink, not like cute baby pink, but like, I've never seen sunlight in my life pink. It lives so deep in the ocean that it probably thinks the sun is a myth. This shark has a face that works like those extending grabber tools. When it spots prey, its entire jaw shoots out of its face like a spring-loaded nightmare. We're talking jaws that can extend almost their entire head length in less than 1 second. This bizarre feeding method evolved because food is scarce in the deep ocean, so you can't afford to miss. Its long, flat nose is also packed with special sensors that detect the tiny electrical signals given off by other animals, so it can hunt in total darkness. And get this, these things have barely changed in 125 million years. While other animals were evolving, the goblin shark was just sitting in the deep ocean like, nah, I'm good with my extendable face, thanks. Number 3. The Immortal Hydra. Imagine being able to chop off your head, grow a new one, and keep on living like nothing happened. Meet the Hydra, a tiny water creature that's basically nature's cheat code. This little guy is about the size of a grain of rice, but it has some seriously overpowered abilities. First off, it doesn't age at all. Scientists believe it's biologically immortal. You can literally cut this thing into pieces, and instead of dying, each piece grows into a complete new Hydra. It's like if you cut off someone's arm and it grew into a whole new person, while the original person also grew a new arm. The secret to their immortality is stem cells. A huge percentage of their cells can transform into any other type of cell they need. It's like they've got a built-in 3D printer that can make spare parts on demand. And get this, they can even regenerate their brain. Scientists tried to kill these things in pretty much every way possible, but the Hydra just keeps on going like some tiny underwater Terminator. The only way to actually kill a Hydra is to completely obliterate it, like putting it in a blender. And even then, if you miss a tiny piece, it might just grow back. Number 2. Tardigrades. Imagine being thrown into space without a spacesuit. No oxygen, no protection, just you floating in the cosmic void. You'd last about 15 seconds, but there's this tiny creature that can handle space just fine. Meet the tardigrade, also known as the water bear. These microscopic tanks are nature's ultimate survivors. In 2007, scientists launched a bunch of these little guys straight into space. No special protection. They were exposed to cosmic radiation that would fry your DNA and temperatures that swing from freezing to boiling. But these water bears just shrugged it off. Not only did they survive, but when they came back to Earth, some of them started having babies. Here's how. When things get rough, tardigrades can turn themselves into tiny glass marbles. They replace the water in their bodies with a special sugar that protects their cells. Then they curl up, slow their metabolism down to 0.01% of normal, and just wait. They can stay like this for decades. They can survive being boiled alive, frozen to near absolute zero, getting hit with pressure 6 times stronger than the deepest ocean, and radiation levels that would turn any other living thing into soup. Number 1. Mike the Headless Chicken. Imagine waking up one morning and your head is just gone. That's exactly what happened to a chicken named Mike back in 1945. One morning, Farmer Lloyd Olson was out doing his usual chicken chopping duties. He grabs a young rooster, takes his axe, and cuts the head clean off. But instead of dying, Mike stood right back up. He shook it off like it was a minor inconvenience and went back to being a chicken. Mike kept trying to peck for food and preen his feathers, all without a head. Lloyd, probably thinking he was losing his mind, decided to wait it out. The next morning, he found Mike sleeping in the barn, still alive. Turns out, Lloyd's axe had missed most of Mike's brainstem and the jugular vein. That tiny bit of brain left was enough to keep his basic functions going. Lloyd started feeding Mike with an eyedropper, dropping food and water directly into his esophagus. This headless chicken became such a sensation that he went on tour. People paid 25 cents to see Miracle Mike. At his peak, he was worth $4,800. That's about $50,000 today. Mike lived for 18 months without his head. He only died when he choked on a kernel of corn in a motel room. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.